with the matches. Seems like Boink is also ready. All the Lithuanians are ready. And we'll be starting the first lower bracket match. Alright, so we'll be finally starting the match. We'll be starting on Passion by Deska. One of the more straightforward maps, I would say, at the part. There's a lot of some parts, I would say it has the only ice part, but it's more like used just for transition, so not needed for all of the ice slides and all that needed. But yeah, this will be the very first map that will be played in this match. So all the players will be starting with 100 points. So it's we have seen a lot of like inconsistencies coming from one side. So we'll see on who will be coming out from this match and will still keep alive in the tournament. So far from the last match that we did saw, Zidan was looking one of the favorites, as he was looking quite in a close fight for that upper semi-final, where he only one round by both being in the reverse finalists, both with him and Kaspa. He was the person who did manage to get a mistake and go out due to that in the round. We will see how that will be playing out afterwards. But yeah, after this match, we'll be playing the upper bracket match. Most likely on the main broadcast, we'll be looking at the Jonaclan, Bits, Mimes, and Deska's match. But at the moment, we'll be looking at the lower. So anyway, match will be starting the first round on the lowers bracket. So the bottom two players coming out of this match will be eliminated from the tournament between Apps, Boink, Ziren, and B-Vegas. So maybe some who are a bit like older, maybe know Destiny, who is also under the name Apps, used to play also in Team Wasp in TMNF. Has not been that used to the new game, but Hills has managed to snap his position to qualifying into the end. Seems like Zidan being as the main favorite in the match, already taking a pretty noticeable lead, following by Vegas. Boink having quite a bit of an oversteers in the early parts of the match, loses quite a bit of an exit speed due to that. Seems like it's a bit more of a fight for that third place between Boink and Apps. Ziren builds up a very solid lead so far, getting him in only -3 points. B-Vegas has to oversteer. He literally gets a nose-slide, gets overtaken by Apps and Boink at the very end. Apps gets a bit more of a very safe approach, doesn't have enough speed, but still managed to snipe in the second place. And Ziren will take the -3 at the early start. And B-Vegas will actually be the person with that nose-slide and a small mistake at the water part, will be taking the early -10 as well. So it does seem like on the early signs that Ziren is one of the favorites coming from this match. So Apps is a bit more tech-focused player. There have been a lot of since the meta of mapping has kind of changed to a bit more mixed style or use of multiple surfaces. It has adapted to a way where he's not that used to most of them. But also on tech sides, he should be managing to catch up, and other points he might have some struggles here and there. Early on, B-Vegas with the early mistake. He didn't look that great previously, but Ziren with a solid start so far. Boink in second place, Apps in third. B-Vegas with the early mistake, quite big gap so far. Apps with a bit nicer exit speed on an overtake on Boink. Actually, one fun fact about Boink is actually playing on Cam 3, so we actually have three players at the event as well. So that's something that's also not that often being played between some of the players, but kind of awesome to see also in person. But so far it seems like Ziren is taking Apps with a small touch, very crucial part, especially before the free wheel part. And B-Vegas will actually snipe Apps for that third place, and will give Apps that -10. Boink gets a -5 in the end, gives a bit more safety net. Because also main thing with this format is just to be consistent. So a lot of mistakes are popping up here and there, especially due to pressure and a bit of these, let's just say, the shakiness of the LAN and playing in such an environment when there's a bunch of people watching you in real life behind your back as well. So far, seems like Ziren is definitely trying to have a bit more safe match so far. Boink actually now fighting for the top positions. Abs in third place. Vegas again with a shaky start. Minor mistake early on. Abs in third place. Only 0.2 difference. At the top, we have Boink and Ziren fighting for those early slots. Abs with very nice exit speed coming out of the part. Bit of an early touch. Mile oversteer. Actually did not touch the wall right there. Ziren with currently leading. Second place. Boink only 0.2 behind. There's 0.2 gap. Ziren clipped the side. Boink is going into the lead due to that. Abs is currently in second place, so both two kind of bit of the underdogs, I would say, from this match. Oh, very close. Boink full wrist. It managed to get a small break tap at the end, but survives with the -3. And Abs gets the second place. Vegas even mistake, and Ziren looks like it's fully out. Oh no, sorry. He did manage to finish, because under this format, if you do not finish, you get -15. Where already some players saw that the -10 already is quite punishing already. And due to that, Boink is now going into the lead with most points still left in the match. So Ziren is with second place. Vegas despite having potentially one of the fastest players in the field, does have let's just say, a lot of inconsistencies due to that. Seems like Ziren is the bit more pop-up player. However, Boink is also kind of surprising us here and there. Swaps with a minor touch, and early on, due to that, messes up his gear as well. So Boink currently in third place, going for the potential overtake on Vegas. Ziren with the comfortably. Vegas straight to inside line. It's like a very close fight for that second place so far. Abs is a bit behind. Seems like Vegas in the third place, gets the water wheel, slides out, still maintains momentum from the part in the water. Oh, Abs with a very shaky end as well. Ziren touches the side, very close. Boink has a lot of speed. Vegas takes it, and actually Boink snipes the first place. Vegas in second place, and Ziren with a minor mistake still maintains the third place. Very, very close round with a very nice comeback from Boink coming there as well. But Abs with a bunch of mistakes, just all them just popped up together, and due to that he gets -10. Boink starting to have a bit more stable match, getting a nice lead as well above the Lithuanians. So we might see potentially even 2 Lithuanians exiting out of the match at the end. So coming on Rose Raid is one of the maps where it's, let's just say there are certain parts where it's just very tight and there's only one type of approach that you need to take. And if you don't have enough good enough setup for certain parts of turns, for example right here, you can clip it and absolutely just go out completely of the round. So it's gonna be, let's just say, not so much pace-based, I feel like at this point in this match, but more like who will survive. Also at this part, very tight gap, very easy. It might not be that visually identifying, but some of the slopes here and there are really making the toss up on some of the sides and can completely throw you off the map basically at that point. Also with the end, there's a part where I don't know if people will be going for this part, but especially some of the top players will be doing a small air brake while going to the risky fin and trying to get so-called water bounce, because it's a tiny bit faster than getting the full grip on the water. So anyways, we're going to be starting our first round on Rose Raid by Mephisto. We'll be playing on four rounds on this part, so we'll have on hold. So currently Boink is in leading part with 83 points into his pocket. With Ziren and Vegas are at 70. Seems like Boink with a small early mistake. Ziren with not the best approaches puts Abs and Vegas in 1-2 position so far. Abs is currently leading the race above Vegas. 1.2 gap between the top 2 players. Then looks like Boink did a small bonk right there, and it's now already 2 seconds behind first place. Abs with a very shaky, that was talking about those invisible inclines, gets thrown off the side. Vegas goes in the lead, gets a bit of an oversteer, loses all of the speed. Abs just comes back due to that. Ziren is on just behind him, all gets a very wide line due to that. With the approach, barely makes the jump as well. Abs, despite having quite shaky round, is still in the leading part. Same with Ziren in second place. It looks like even Boink, despite having a very big mistake at early on, looks like Ziren got the water bounce. So yeah, only 58.5 being the winning time. Quite far from the world record, but like every single player made a mistake. So this was, I was talking about early on the map. This map is like, just one thing goes wrong and it's you're completely forced off the line that you're supposed to take. And due to that, it just snowballs all the time. So yeah, due to those, let's just say a bit of a mashup of a round, due to that Ziren gets a tied points now with Boink. Ziren gets a small lead. Vivega's in 4th place, relatively close round. So far, only 0.3 difference between all the players. No one's going for the inside grip. You can take an inside grip from that black part to get a bit more extra speed. Vivegas does clip, a very unfortunate part before the freewheel part. Loses a bunch of speed. Boink gets an unfortunate line there, gets thrown off the side. There's a pretty like 0.5 gap between the top 2 players. Now Ziren gets a comfortable lead with 0.5, but he touches the side and allows Abs for a potential overtake due to that. And now Boink is in 2nd place as there's a close fight now for the 3rd place now for those minus 10 points. Vivegas hits the side clips, unfortunately. Abs with a very safe approach at the end, still managed to finish off while being even, let's see, upside down, it seems like it from my perspective. And Boink gets the minus 5, a bit of fiesta of a round on this map, but Ziren in 3rd place and Vivegas then last with minus 10 in the end. Yeah, there is some drone racing actually. Actually, it's quite far off, but it's quite loud, let's just say like that, on the spot as well. So Ziren with an early mistake puts him out of the round, potential minus 10 point position at the end of the round. You know, there's a very nice fight for getting only those minus 3 points that give you that extra security field, for especially during out the match. So currently Abs, Vivegas and Boink are very close, only 0.03. Boink gets a small touch, Abs gets forced to the outside line. Boink gets a nice overtake. Now Vivegas now in 2nd place, small oversteer, gets very close, might get a pinball bong from this side, but Boink is still leading in the 1st place. Vivegas is kind of close as well, definitely needs those extra security points that he needs to get so it doesn't get too big of a penalty coming out every single round. As Boink still seems to secure it on being the match leader so far. Gets the water bounce, gets the low side of water bounce, gets the solid 58 once, as being like, it seems like that's the consistency side. The world record here is around like 56, so the time difference is kind of big. But like I said, this map is more about surviving at this point than trying to push it for the pace. But yeah, a bit of a round for Vivegas, starting to, let's just say, reduce the points difference and points gap between the rest of the players. I think when the points gap is going to be really, really close, then for those elimination parts of the match, they'll be definitely coming a bit more spicier at the very end as well. So no early mistakes so far. Of course. Of course I had to say that, yeah. No early mistakes. Then we get a synchronized mistake from 2 of the players also, yeah. Typical caster's curse moment. So at the moment we have Ziren and Vivegas in a 1-2 so far. Ziren is leading with the Vivegas in 2nd place. A pretty close gap so far. Only 1.1 difference. Vivegas with a nicer approach. Might get a bit more speed than Ziren. Another player spawn. Bit of an over-adjustment by Vivegas. Loses a lot of speed on the exercise. Clips the side. Goes for the safe part. Even allows Abs to overtake due to that. Boink is still at the bottom of the barrel here, might get the minus 10 despite being the race leader, so that will definitely spice up the field as Ziren gets the 1st place with minus 3, Abs with 2nd minus 5, Vivegas with minus 7, and Boink gets the minus 10. So Vivegas still, despite having a potentially good round, that small clip is let's just say it's getting a bit closer, since now all the top 3 is 54, 52, 52, and 42. So we might see a quadruple reverse finalist maybe at the end, maybe. Would be really nice. But yes, the bottom 2 players from this match will be eliminated from the tournament. So the people who will basically lose a round will be in the finalist start, will be eliminated from the whole tournament. And especially since the points, or let's just say a life bar, I guess you can say it like that, it's kind of close. So due to that, let's just say I think we might see a lot of like the pressure breakers coming in. We already saw that on Ziren's and Kaspa's match. Like as soon as the match ended, both of them were very, very shaky, like IRL. And I think that's the stuff that you can't usually see, like behind the monitor, like how the players are actually feeling. Like, and I'll say this, sometimes seeing people mauled, it gives like the best reactions, I would say. yeah, on this map, it'll be auto counter by Skifrik and Nixotica. So a bit more dirt-heavy map this time around. There is one part that's gonna be kind of tricky to get at the very start. It can give a small upper edge if they get it really, really nice. But other than that, it's gonna be quite straightforward map. It's more about getting the outside lines for most parts. Just trying to keep it consistent as well as get an early touch by, I believe it was Apps. Oh, Bivega's unfortunate speed penalty right there. Even gets close and now the whole field is split in two parts. However, Apps gets a very nice exit speed coming out of the tech turn and even catches up to Boink. Ziren gets a very nice dominant lead. That was, it seems like, wait, Boink made a mistake? Yeah, he did. And Boink made a mistake early on and that puts him at the -10 position. He is the current race leader. However, small mistakes here and there got them those -10 and made him lose a bit as well due to that. Ziren is now currently leading. Apps in second place, very wide line there, very awkward approach, I would say. Whereas Bivegas should be kind of close as the gap is only 0.3, but some stuff can still happen at the very end. A very good approach by Bivegas can get as well as Apps gets on very unfortunate approach. Seems like a close round. We have seen some bonks here and there, but it will be still a solid -5 for Bivegas as Ziren gets a nice -3, and I believe this will allow Ziren to now go into the lead of so-called security points, and it will be with 49 as Boink will drop down to 44 and Bivegas will be at 37, so it's already really close. So there's a very good chance we get some interesting matchups happening at the final parts of the match. But we might see like triple or quadruple finalist, reverse finalist as well. Ziren with a very shaky start, still managed to keep it in. Boink is currently leading at the early parts. All three Lithuanians are closely packed. Boink went way too wide there. Actually, Boink plays with camera 3, so probably that part seemed a bit weird from his side. So a lot of people are getting a small oversteers at the very end parts. Bivegas is now going into the league. Boink in second place, Apps in third place. Ziren with a bit early mistake. Spell gets bunked. Boink gets a bit of airtime, gets forced in a weird, awkward line. Bivegas currently is leading, followed by Apps. Apps tries to listen for the outside line, gets a bit unlucky and touches the side. Very nice other parts from Ziren, gets caught up to Boink now currently. Bivegas now currently in the league. Boink gets a nice approach right from Ziren and Bivegas crashed out the end. Boink actually sniped Ziren at the very end. Ziren secures second place, unlucky end. Even Bivegas gets last with a -10. That could have been such a nice round, especially since it was last place in terms of total points. But Taps still snipes even Bivegas at the very end. So just having a quite straightforward end, the good old LAN jiggers just come on and just, you know, despite having like, it's like in Rocket League having an open net. Seems like an open road and, you know, something just doesn't go like add up and you just get put into more pressure than usual. Looks like two early mistakes both from Boink and from Apps. So it's a two people race at the top. Where is Boink? How far is he? Boink is very far. Hopefully he will be able to finish. He's currently 8 seconds behind, while Apps is at the moment at 2.5. Seems like there's a very nice fight at the top between Ziren and Bivegas for those -3. So Bivegas had a very nice start previously, but had a very unfortunate end where he bumped the finish, and due to that, let's just say, let past the rest of the players. Ziren at the moment early on leading with a potential -3. Potentially putting him in a very more, let's just say, comfortable leading position. No shot. Well, he went for a very majestic backflip, I guess, in the end. And Bivegas snipes the needed -3 as he now keeps smiling about the situation, having a good laugh about the moment as well. But yeah, Boink in -3, even Apps gets overtakes Ziren in the end. But yeah, Boink now actually in the danger zone a bit as now, was currently leading. But yeah, Ziren still in the lead. Apps now in second place. Boink and Bivegas are now the biggest part of the danger zone. No early mistakes from the early on. Bit of a shaky start from Apps. No other major mistakes so far. Small release by Bivegas, trying to adjust his line. There's a bit of extra speed due to that. Ziren increases the lead. Adjustment line by Bivegas allows Apps and Boink to overtake. Ziren does lose the gear, while everyone else keeps the gear, gets a bit more extra speed due to that. Abs gets overtaken due to that. Boink is leading, following by Vivegas in second place. Abs is very, very close in third as well. So it's a very close fight in the top three. Ziren is very close in fourth as well. Finally, we get a close round finally. Boink going for the outside line, gets a nice approach, does keeps the gear. Abs loses the gear, gets a nice inside line, and maintains the momentum. Vivegas trying to cap on outside line, Ziren trying to attack from inside, gets a minor clip, nothing too crazy. Boink with a small touch, loses the top three position. Seems like Abs gets a proper line, and he makes it. Ziren snipes even with a small, just a small clip inside ahead of Vivegas, and finally get a good round on this map. Even Boink having a small touch, we still put it in a very close matchup. But yeah, Abs now puts himself in a very nice position with like Ziren and Abs putting with potentially like 3 lives overall. But very nice round finally, and nice to see at the event. So now we're coming on Resco. Resco is kind of straightforward map. There is one part that kind of is very gear heavy. So there will be one part where players can potentially do a 0.5 times save while trying to maintain a gear. But we'll see what that happens. Seems like on this match, especially in like early matches at the event, it's more about surviving the rounds, not by trying to keep up the pace. I think we'll see like way more closer, more fancier rounds, especially in the next, in the upcoming matches after this one. So yeah, so this is the part where will be Vegas. This will be kind of one of the crucial parts, because this is a very weird tech exit, and we have seen a lot of mistakes coming out from this part. We have seen some double mistakes here and there. So we will see, that might be the part where we see some interesting comebacks coming at the very end. So that is kind of low-key, like a very basic, I would say, identity coming outside of the event, but we'll see how this go on this map. So currently coming on this map, Ziren is with 32, Abs with 30, Boink with 21, and Vivegas with 17. So with this format, one thing you can kind of keep in mind is like, so each like, not like every 10 points is kind of like an extra life, I guess you can say like that. Where being like one dead digit away can put you in a bit of a safety net, especially if you get -10 on the final parts. Now let's just say the pressure comes in. In this round, currently Ziren is leading, but a small touch gets overtaking now Vivegas and Abs due to excess speed. Boink with an early mistake as well. Ziren still maintains his third place. This is the whole part about maintaining the gear. Seems like Abs had a bit unfortunate exit. Ziren did lose the gear, didn't maintain it, didn't get the upper gear. What was that plastic bounce? So Ziren gets an unfortunate touch from the inside. Abs is still leading the round, falling by Vivegas in second place. Gets a very weird line, still maintains the speed, gets a barely snipes you probably with a hair between that part and the wall, but he still maintains the first place, gets a -3 and gives a solid. Also Vivegas gets a -5 that's kind of needed, as it gives just more just more points lost for Boink and Ziren. Ziren is actually the person who was leading currently, so it's at 22 points. Abs getting that -3 definitely puts him on a security part. Actually, this was the round where Abs did manage to qualify at the very end in a very close round between him and Fisio, I believe, but Fisio, due to some people not able to attend, was given the opportunity to come. So it's kind of one of the better maps for Abs in this regard. So currently Vivegas and Boink are both at 12 and 14 points, so they're the closest players, potentially only 2 or 3 rounds away from being eliminated, as Boink has an early mistake. Ziren currently leading the field, following Vivegas and Abs in the second and third place. We have seen some nose slides here and there, but seems like all players get an auto slide coming out from the jump. Ziren currently leading, we'll see some upper gear, gets a lower gear intentionally maybe. Loses due to that for Vivegas, who does maintain the gear. Seems like Boink gets a very good gearing, manages to catch up. Abs gets the upper gear, goes ways too past Vivegas. Now Vivegas gets a way better exit speed, comes in down to Ziren even. Seems like Boink as well is not too far off. Seems like no mistakes coming from the exit side. Seems like Abs is the player. Vivegas gets a very awkward exit. Seems like it's going to be a solid 1, 2, 3, while Ziren taking first place, Vivegas in second, and Abs in third. And Boink will be in fourth place. So Boink is only 4 points left, and he'll be entered into reverse finals. So if he wants to get the, let's just say, bit more security, Boink really needs to win the next round, and Vivegas needs to not basically be in the top 2 if he doesn't want to be put in the danger zone so far as well. Well, Abs and Ziran on a relatively comfortable 20 and 19 points respectively. So Boink really needs to get a win in this round, just to increase his safety net in the match. Keep in mind, bottom 2 players, Abs gets an also a very nice Neo to fix it. It loses a bit still. Vegas currently leading. We'll see how the gears are being maintained. Seems like Abs gets the upper gear, tries to get it. He gets the upper gear, gets a good speed coming out of the part, gets a very awkward setup due to that. Seems like a very close round. Vegas clips. They're all very, very close. Vegas loses a lot of extra speed due to that. Ziran currently leading, following by Abs. Boink needs to do a small release, gets put in the last place just due to that. Abs and Ziran currently one place. Ziran goes for the outside line. Seems like Ziran will be maintaining the lead and Boink will be in last place. Ziran will get a -3 both. Bottom 2 position here. It's actually a bit unfortunate for Vegas as he just barely snipes in that reverse finalist part. So we have double final, reverse finalist. So the player, either if Vegas or Boink get last place. And if either Boink or Vegas get bottom 2, they will be eliminated from the whole tournament. So that's the places where they definitely don't want to be. Meanwhile, Ziran and Abs have a bit of a safety net with 15 and 16 points each. Ziran having a comfortable lead. Very close fight between Abs, Vegas and Boink. They definitely don't want to go home right now. This is a very decisive round for them. It's a bit of a lower gear from Boink's side. Vegas very close on the bottom pack as well. Abs is very close to that. That's kind of like the main player. Both Vegas and Boink really want to snipe to still stay in the match. Ziran is quite far ahead in top positions. Vegas a bit behind. Small adjustment there by Boink. He still maintains in 3rd place. Whereas Vegas, Ziran has unfortunate touch. Still managed to first lead. Looks like Vegas will be. No, he gets a lot of extra speed. Jeez. And it's Vegas who almost sniped Boink, but Boink is still in and Vegas will be eliminated from the tournament. It was very, very close on sniping it. So it's now all on just one player and we'll be actually switching maps due to that. So sadly, Vegas will be out of the tournament. So we have still 3 players, Ziran, Abs, and Boink, who are still left in this match. Of course, at the moment, Boink is looking on the, on the biggest side of the danger zone. If he just gets last in a round, he will be eliminated from the tournament. But he can still try to get the top 2 positions. Let's just say sunk down both Ziran and Abs. Trying to pull them down, pressure them to finalist. Because I think there's definitely going to be some mistakes happening if that does happen. Boink has been a bit coming as well, having a bit some consistency issues. And it's kind of going to be crazy since this map is very consistency based as well. Especially there's a bit of, you kind of, I guess you can call it as an identity, where you can even risk it, get an, let's just say, extra grip in the middle parts of the map, where you can skip the dirt kind of turn a bit, keep a lot of momentum, get a low jump onto the ramp, and due to that, it's possible to get that extra speed, but it can be really, really, really costly due to that. So anyways, coming out on the next round, this might be the potentially final round for Boink. Boink just needs to not be last, basically. And he will be still out, trying to drain both Ziran and Abs from their points, trying to just lower them, push them to the bottom side. And push them into the finalists. Ziran has a nice lead, so it seems like between Boink and Abs so far, but one mistake from either the Lithuanians can still give the opportunity to the Dutchman. Ziran with a comfortable lead. Abs is now in a small place. Very nice adjustment by Boink there, keeps to save it. Does lose a bit of momentum. Abs gets a nice, jumps way too high. Where is Boink? I can't find him. Oh no. Cameras. Boink is still kind of close though. Very close. Abs gets unfortunate airtime. Still, maybe if he gets a nice exit line, he gets a bit of extra speed. So this might be the decisive part. He gets a nice, very close, but very close. Boink gets more speed. Abs did clip it, and Boink is still in. Abs with -7 points, barely survives. Boink barely survives still in the race. But yeah, -7 points for Abs, so if Abs, basically, yeah, it's now very, very close. Boink still needs to hold on. He can potentially send either Abs or Ziren home as well. So it's just all about trying to just keep consistent, at least sniping just one player to keep on into the tournament. Managed to maintain the gear, Ziren with a nice lead. Abs with a shaky start. Basically, Abs just needs to survive this round and he will still be in. Very shaky lengths coming from both Boink and Abs. Definitely the pressure is starting to come in. Not that much extra speed coming from Boink. He does get the inside line though, gets that extra speed. Gets a nice low jump as well as Abs have to oversteer. At the end, loses a whole 0.4 at the end. Well, Ziren is like completely out of the game, just like doing his own thing. Abs has a minor touch, and we might see double reverse finalist at the very end. So the top 2 players will be, well, basically the bottom 2 players from this match will be eliminated, while the top 2 will be still keeping alive in the tournament. So it's gonna be really, really close as we have double reverse finalists coming into this match. Ziren is quite comfortable, still 7 points, but if Ziren gets basically if Ziren gets last, then we will have triple reverse finalists. So that's also a scenario that can happen. So it's all upon both Abs and Boink trying to snipe Ziren. As actually Ziren is also a bit of pressure due to that. However, it's way less than both Boinks and Abs. Unfortunate gear. He does lose the Abs loses the gear, loses quite a bit. It looks like Boink has a good start of the round as he's together fighting with both him and Ziren. 0.5 difference, quite a bit of an oversteer coming from Abs. Small break tap coming from the other side as well. 0.8 difference with him and race leader. Small mistake from either Ziren or Boink can still toss it from the other side and give Abs still more tournament life as well. Ziren starting to increase his lead, so a mistake will be very obvious. It seems like Abs will be having a mistake, so there's a good chance that Boink, despite having been so long at the lower side, Boink has a small mistake, loses a lot of extra speed though, but the back gap is quite huge still. So small mistake, photo pressure comes and looks like a small touch, and Boink still survives. Abs gets eliminated, Boink survives, managed to clutch it out in the end. Quite unfortunate for Abs, but it will still be Ziren and Boink who will be continuing on with the tournament, and due to that we'll have to say goodbyes to Vegas and Abs in the tournament. So very nice clutch there from Boink, and I think it was a very, very cool experience like that. Maybe we can get Boink to come on stream if you're interested, if you wanna talk about how was the match like. Yeah, you can just go over here and then like we can give it to you. So awesome. So how was your feelings? You were so long just still staying on that final, still barely surviving it. Not getting those first places, but still going out of that bottom places. You can...
Yeah, it was very stressful. I think the first half of the match I was doing pretty consistent times, getting some first, second places. I think I was almost the whole time in first place. Then I got some maps I didn't really like, played bad on them, especially the last 2. But at least I managed to finish second the last round, because I think if I got third, I would have dropped out of it.
Yeah. That was really, really close as well, since like it was such a close round between you and Abs at the very end. Vegas as well. So there were some really, really close rounds between you and him. So what are your now expectations? Can you maybe even survive the maybe next round as well, or how's the competition comparing to you, or like how do you see yourself doing further in the event?
I think I'm now doing way better than the first match. So if we can hold that for the third one, I think I can do pretty good in the next match.
we have a bit of microphone issue, but other than that, I think it's gonna be so. So yeah, we'll be soon doing the upper semifinals, where we'll have a match between on stream. It's gonna be between Mime, Deska, JonahClan, and Bits. So that's gonna be a really sick match to watch. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us for now. So definitely stay tuned.